We're joined by SABC News' senior political reporter, Samkele Maseko. Samkele, many have argued that the intense leadership battle last year overshadowed these substantive issues, policy that could determine where we're going as a country. How important are the discussions happening tonight?
Discussions are very important, Francis, but not only is the policy formulation discussed at the national conference, but they are also predominantly discussed at the policy conference which precedes the ANC's national conference. You'd remember that the policy conference was held in June, July of 2022, where various policy proposals were taken, particularly around the energy trajectory of the country, of a just transition and an energy mix that the administration of President Cyril Ramaphosa is pretty much embarking on. Hence, you see the investments of hydrogen electricity, which is through the collaboration of the South African government and the Saudi Arabian government. After that trip that President Cyril Ramaphosa took to Saudi Arabia with over $10 million investments and a further $5 million investments into South Africa's energy just transition program and energy mix that the government has been embroiled on, which is largely focused within the Northern Cape province of Premier Zamani Soul, which the president has in recent months went to open. You also have the Central Energy Fund that is going to be used in the policy proposals in the energy trajectory when it comes to trying to curb the escalating prices of oil and gas and petrol within the country, to try and own an oil refinery out in the north of KwaZulu-Natal, which is one of the policy proposals being pushed by Gwede Mantashe, the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, and also the national chairperson of the African National Congress. Then you've got the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, whom is largely tasked with trying to find ways and measures to implement the basic income grant, which at this point in time is not an ANC policy, but is a huge topical debate in this ANC's resolutions to be discussed and resolved upon by the Economic Transformation Subcommittee chaired by Mamlogo Kubai of the 55th National Conference National Executive Committee, whom will give a report back. So far, during the course of the day, you have seen the strategy and tactics document presented by David Makura, who is now a National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress. You had the organizational renewal document presented by Fasia Hassan, which includes step-aside resolution, which includes how the ANC can cleanse its image from the wrongdoings that is perceived in society of the sins of incumbency, which include corruption, malfeasance, and wrongdoing of ANC leaders, and how the ANC can, in essence, be once again perceived as a good liberation movement with a good image within society by doing the basics right in order to try and lure South Africans back into the governing party when it comes to electoral politics within the country. Then we had Phoebe Potgieter-Qubule, whom also presented a discussion document within the ANC, which looks into the financial sustainability of the African National Congress. You are anticipating any moment from now the various repertoires of these commissions to come and give report backs on the resolved resolutions of conference.
Samkele, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the last wording I saw around social grants, for example, was that the ANC would like to extend social grants, but it has to be affordable. So that is an aspirational thing then. It doesn't force government's hand. Around energy, there will be renewable, but maybe more space for gas, for nuclear, so that renewable energy, there's still a just transition, but it doesn't give exact definitions or exact criteria for how much coal, etc. Is there anything really contentious here, or anything that can actually change the trajectory that we're on as a country?
The policy proposals that will be taken at this 55th National Conference of the ANC ultimately do influence government proposals. They do influence government decisions, because it is the ANC that governs at the end of the day. If the ANC decides to implement a basic income grant, which will cushion the poor, from poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. You must know it is heavily influenced by the current social 350 rands that is distributed through COVID-19 to the poor South Africans, which was pretty much a benchmark in trying to bring about a basic income grant within the country. So they are moving in that trajectory of trying to alleviate poverty, inequality by having these social grants that are meaningful, that have meaningful impact within society. Yes, the ANC runs a threat by some whom have said it is pretty much running a welfare state, which is huge and has a huge burden on the South African fiscus and on the South African economic trajectory, and has a hampering effect on foreign direct investments into the country. But the social aspect and the social program of the ANC to try and take along South Africans is what will probably be resolved upon, and which will influence the Department of Social Development in the country and the various policy proposals and resolutions that the Minister of Social Development, Lindiwe Zulu, will have to implement in government, which will be resolutions of the African National Congress, which is the governing party at this point in time. So in layman terms, Francis, the resolutions taken at this conference will ultimately influence the ANC NEC Lekgotla. Post the ANC NEC Lekgotla, it will influence the decisions that will be taken at the Cabinet Lekgotla, and ultimately you will see them filtering through in the State of the Nation address to be delivered by President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa on the 7th of February.
All right, thank you very much, Samkele Maseko.